doesn't hurt to go the extra mile, but it hurts to actually accidentally catch something, right? These are basically the materials needed. If you struggle to find a mask, you could always make your own. And without further ado, let's start by gathering 2 pieces of kitchen roll and 1 piece of pocket tissue. Fold it in half, with the pocket tissue being in the center. Then, using the masking tape, tape one side with half of the width of the tape. In this case, I used brown tape. Measure up to the height of the mask, then cut the tape for both sides. Then, using half of the width of your tape, tape down one side and then fold and stick the other side down as well. Repeat the same on the other side. Now that we've enclosed both sides, we need to measure out the width of our nose clip, which we're going to use a piece of thin cardboard to facilitate. You can also do this with a thin piece of metal, but today, for ease of finding the materials, that's what we're going to use. Just to let you know ahead of time, we're going to be using metal clips and elastic bands for your straps on each side. But meanwhile, let's complete our nose clip first. Hang on. Having a bit of difficulty measuring whilst trying to record, but we got there. See? Nice and snug. Next, we're going to cut these 2 elastic bands open. You can choose not to as well, that's fine. But in this instance, I chose to do that for this tutorial. I want you to first take notice that the elastic bands do not go on the bottom of the clip. The elastic band comes out through the top, and then at the bottom it also comes through the top, not down to the bottom. This ensures the tenacity and stability of the mask whilst you're wearing it, without it pulling into directions that you don't want it to be pulled. I've already tested this numerous times before publishing the tutorial, so you can be safe with following my advice. May I also briefly mention that the metal clip on the upper part of the mask actually comes closer to the top edge than in comparison with the bottom half. What I mean by this is that on the bottom half it tends to actually come up a bit higher, but I'll be talking about that a bit later. You might want to loosen the elastic bands before you put the mask on. Yeah, learn from my mistake, because that kind of did hurt. But as you can see, the nose clip is working quite well, even when using cardboard. Next, I'm going to show you how to manage your eye protection, because this is one of the most overlooked parts of your protection. By placing down a metal clip on each side of my glasses frame, my plastic visor will then be able to be secured on both sides and wrapping around my whole face. Here's a sample I made earlier. and I'm just going to show you the ones that I bought. I literally bought a 50 pack because there's a very small price difference, and it's worth getting the bigger pack for sure. Might even benefit a family member or a housemate. You can share some maybe. And they're reusable as long as you clean them with disinfectant properly and leave them to air for, well, I would say at least 7 days after using it. And with 50 pieces, you're gonna get a lot of usage out of them. So definitely no waste there. But when cutting through the seams, be careful that you're not going all over the place and you actually follow the fold of the seam, which is why I seem to be taking a bit more time than what you would expect. Because I do want to give you a good example. Okay, now that I've worked through the first seam, I'm gonna find and straighten out the seam, which will help me keep a straight line. And here comes the super satisfying moment. Oh yeah, ain't that awesome? And there we are. We'll only be needing one piece of that plastic protector for each use, but you get 2 pieces out of each folder that you cut. So that's pretty convenient, right? So after clipping the visor down on both sides, I'm gonna have to measure out the 2 sides to make sure the depth is even on each side and that the wrap is not actually completely tilted towards one side and the other side not having enough coverage. I'm gonna give it a test run. Note that I've also only put down the outer clip because I tried doing it with both and the clip actually has like a small amount of width and the glasses frame actually, it just kind of doesn't fit in with it quite too well, and it just kind of like pushes the plastic visor out of shape a little bit in my case. So that's why I left the inner part of the clip upwards. These are basically the materials needed. So kitchen towel, 2 pieces, pocket tissue, 1 piece. Because these are thicker than normal tissues, so it kind of like absorbs more moisture than the paper towels, and it goes like in the center. When you fold them, they end up kind of like in the middle. And brown tape, so kind of like paper tape, like paper on the outside and then sticky on the inside. Elastic bands, metal clips, and the odd piece of cardboard, because just if you have like a moldable thin metal piece, then that would work as well, but I couldn't find those, so I just used cardboard. It kind of works the same, and plus you've got a plastic visor over the top anyway. Oh, and also you need these, so like clear plastic folders, and then you just cut it into half in between the seams, and basically that's your visor. And this is like just as important as the mask, because the mask is not actually waterproof, so you rely on this to actually block out any droplets that are sprayed on you. So you noticed in the news with all the health professionals, most of the masks they wear have like a plastic film on top, and that's basically following the same concept. And even in the UK, I think like their testing kits have that like plastic visor on top, just in case someone coughs or sneezes at them. And yeah, so that's a very important factor. But if you don't have it, then I guess like you'll just have to make do with something else, right? I mean, like, at least if you don't have plastic visor, I guess you could still like just wear glasses, so like minimal protection, still something to stop the droplets from catching into your eyes. I actually got most of my stationery from WH Smith. I had a trip there like before things got really bad, and the rest, like kitchen roll, pocket tissues, I can get those all at the supermarket. I got the pocket tissues at the superstore, and it's not actually many people fighting over them. People suggesting you could use like stapler or like hole punch to punch these bits to like secure the elastic bands, but I found that it was kind of like redundant because the metal clips are very strong. You can see like I can stretch the heck out of the elastic bands and they're not going to come out. You just need to clip them out, clip them in right, and basically what I do is I make sure instead of just kind of like clinging to the edge, I try and make the elastic bands travel through the clip and then come out. So it's kind of like more surface area touching the clip in case it does kind of budge. So I wore like a whole morning from 6 AM till like 12 PM that day when I had to go out and shop. But it was actually on so tight that it hurt my ears and not that it was coming off. But today, for some reason, I made the mask. Maybe I just kind of like improved upon the positioning, and it's really much more comfortable. Like, it didn't hurt at all. For the positioning, notice the clips actually, the top one is closer to the top edge of the mask, and then like the bottom one is slightly higher than like, you know, like the equivalent position but at the bottom half of the mask. So being the top clip being higher kind of helps to secure it in place on your face, whereas the bottom clip being slightly higher, because most elastic bands that I found being sold were quite tight and quite small, so if you stretch it all the way to being down here, then there's not much room for the elastic band to actually stretch out, and it's already stretched out before you put it on, and that's not a good sign. An extra tip, if you notice, like the bottom of the mask doesn't cover that much. You can kind of see my goatee. So what I did is actually put like an extra piece of tape across the bottom and literally like taped it to my face. I mean, the visor covers like over it anyway, to your neck, but like if you're feeling extra unsafe or if you're working in a high risk place, then you could consider that. But it does make it slightly harder to breathe because there's not, you know, the mask then becomes like almost fully enclosed, and actually, yeah, it would struggle to breathe if you have to wear it for like more than 2 hours. Yeah. So then my next intended upgrade is basically like I'm waiting for the anti-pollution face mask to come through, and then, you know, that has like a little, like a nose clip as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add these metal clips, like one on each side, and then kind of like clip this equivalent mask like here and here, and then just kind of like clip it inside that anti-pollution mask. So even if you don't trust that filtration system that comes with the mask, and also, yeah, by the way, that mask is washable up to 50 times. You just wash it like with no hotter than 30 degrees with just normal soap, and then just let it air dry, and you can reuse it. I mean, I don't know if you trust that, but like, I guess if you can't buy face masks, it's something. Yeah, so that mask plus this mask underneath, I think we're pretty safe. Like, and you're still wearing the glasses and the visor on top. It'll be easier to breathe than probably. Oh no, actually, it'll just be about the same. Like, yeah. So yeah, that's my recommendation for facial protection for you guys. And if you can get gloves, get gloves. It doesn't hurt to go the extra mile, but it hurts to actually accidentally catch something, right? So yeah, stay safe guys. The mask itself only takes 2 to 3 minutes to make if you have the materials in front of you. I got the recommendation for this mask basically from a video produced by Shenzhen Hospital in collaboration with the H.K Consumer Council and Hong Kong Polytechnic University, along with like some other consulting firms. And basically like it's an officially recognized medical mask for the general public if they can't buy face masks, because there was like a huge face mask panic all over the world. And they said this mask is okay for open areas like outside, places with not a lot of people. If you're not wearing it for a long time, it's okay as like a substitute, really, as a last resort. But if you don't have a face mask, I guess that is the last resort, right? If you must go out and you must buy food. Rant over, calm and collected, okay. So yeah, the topic I wanted to touch on today was face masks, because I'm sure you guys will have seen more and more people wearing face masks on the street, and maybe it's striking some sort of subconscious fear in your heart. You feel really unsafe when you see other people wrapped up like an onion, but you don't have anything to protect yourself with. So let me just recommend this one product. I don't get sponsorship money for it, but I ordered one myself and for my friend, and so I think you should check it out. If you guys have heard of CYCL, apparently it's pretty rad with like the younger crowd. Let me just flip to the product page. Yeah, pre-order only. So delivery beginning of April. So they're sold out at the moment, but if they're selling it for £40 and it still sells out, then like I guess one, because people are just generally like panicking and in fear because you can't buy face masks in most places. Second, this product's actually backed by I think one of the guys from Dragon's Den, one of the investors. And this mask basically promotes that, it filters like all the bad particles in the air. It actually outperforms the typical surgical face mask, as they claim. There's a lot of information on this page, and I guess you could better view it on your own devices, because I can't actually zoom in on, like, for example, like there's a graph. A table on how it performs compared to other products and such like, but yeah, have a look at it for yourself and decide what you think about it.